The reviews are in for a brand new PlayStation 4 exclusive JRPG, and they are looking very, very good. I want to go over that, as this is a game that I've been looking forward to for quite a while, and I've been talking up for a while, and that is The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3. On top of that, a couple of games have gotten some sizable updates, and free updates at that. Control has gotten a photo mode, and new info on the Expeditions update have also been revealed, and also Wargroove, a very good downloadable title, is getting a sizable free update with Double Trouble. We'll talk all about that at the end of this video, but first up, I really want to give you guys the rundown on The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3, which is a game, if you're a fan of JRPGs, should definitely be on your radar. Now, the caveat is that these games are very much tied together, so obviously, as you can see from the title, it's Trails of Cold Steel 3. How important is it for you to play Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2? I would say pretty important. Now, Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2 do encompass, like, the first half of the story, and then with Trails of Cold Steel 3, there's a little bit of a time skip. There's a new cast of characters introduced as well, but the stories are very much connected together. There is a recap video on Trails of Cold Steel 3, but I've always been of the notion that a 7 to 10 minute recap video is only going to do you so much, comparatively speaking, to playing a 50 to 80 hour JRPG, and 50 to 80 hours is only really scratching the surface. If you want to do everything in Trails of Cold Steel, it takes even longer than that. But nonetheless, I do want to give you guys the rundown of the reviews of Trails of Cold Steel 3, and they are looking very good. Currently on OpenCritic, it's got an 87 average, which is incredibly respectable, and 100% of the reviewers would recommend the title. Game Informer gave it an 8 out of 10, saying Trails of Cold Steel 3 marks another school year full of adrenaline-pumping battles, interesting new faces, and unexpected hardships amidst political turmoil. Hardcore Gamer gave it a 4.5 out of 5, saying the only real fault you can attribute to Trails of Cold Steel 3 is how it doesn't quite match the lofty heights of the previous two titles deservedly reach. If you guys don't know, Trails of Cold Steel 2 was an incredible game. Cold Steel 1 was very good, but I wouldn't say it was as good as Cold Steel 2. Cold Steel 1 had the issue that a large portion of the early section of the game was character development and a lot of lore building, which is very important and makes the second part of the game a lot more impactful, but the first portion is a little bit of a slog. It's still enjoyable, but in Cold Steel 2, it's up and running right from the get-go. Looks like Trails of Cold Steel 3, according to Hardcore Gamer and Jordan Helm, the reviewer, was a little bit of a drop-off, but that doesn't really say much. RPG Gamer gave it a 5 out of 5, saying Trails of Cold Steel 3 is everything I want from an RPG, that's said by Alex Fuller, with a world that fully sucks players in, amazing music and locations in which one can just sit and relax, and a twisting and fascinating story involving incredibly deep characters that are easy to get attached to. That's what I really noticed with Cold Steel 1 and 2, and that's partly because they did a lot of character development and a lot of lore building in the first portion of Trails of Cold Steel 1. So that's why that was so important, that it's very easy to get attached to these characters. The characters all have their distinct personalities, they all have their unique quirks. And it does look like with Cold Steel 3's, different character roster, that still holds very much true. Do want to note one final review from Cubed from Renan Fontes, giving the game a 9 out of 10, saying Trails of Cold Steel 3 is an important title for both Falcom and NIS. For Falcom, it's an entry in a story arc half a decade in the making, and an incredibly engrossing one at that. For NIS, it's a step in the right direction after Ys 8, and proof that The Legend of Heroes localization is still in good hands moving forward. This is a continuity-heavy RPG with 13 years of video game history and 7 titles building up to it, but the combat and world are strong enough where even newcomers can enjoy the ride. Trails of Cold Steel 3 is the Erebonia arc at its best. Erebonia arc is the entirety of Trails of Cold Steel. And while it was noted that anybody can really jump in, and I'm sure that's true, again, if you want the most out of this story, I would recommend you to play Cold Steel 1 and 2, even with that recap video. And for the sake of the fact that Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2 are really good games, and some of the reviews even suggested that they're better games than Cold Steel 3, because they are elite in their quality level from a JRPG standard. Next up, Control, the game from Remedy, is getting a significant update with photo mode coming, and also there has been new info revealed on the Expeditions update. It was noted from Video Starvek, a community manager over at Remedy. Control has been out for a little while now, and we are so grateful for how enthusiastic everyone has been about the game. Such an overwhelmingly positive response from our community, our friends at game development studios worldwide, and our friends and families has exceeded all our expectations. You even liked the duck and the plants. Thank you so much. It has been wonderful to see such support across the board for our weird game. You inspire us to be better and work harder every day. It's so interesting that Remedy themselves classify their title as a weird game, but I think that's fair to say. Remedy games are a little bit off the wall, but nonetheless, that's what makes them so captivating. And it was continued by noting Control's journey isn't over yet though, we have new content in the pipeline, but before that, the first thing the next game update will have is a much requested photo mode which will be bringing to you in update 1.04. The best news is that this update will be out tomorrow, October 16th. The article was posted yesterday, so it's out today. With its brutalist hallways, big open space, and strange things creeping in from other dimensions, Control has a very striking aesthetic. Every sector of the bureau has a unique look and color palette, not to mention that Jesse's supernatural abilities can leave a devastating effect on the environment and the corrupted enemies. Considering all these strong visuals, there was no question that a photo mode was something we needed to do for Control. It's a chance for you to express your creativity and put your mark on the world we've built by capturing the moments that matter to you. Photo mode can be accessed through the options menu directly in the game. To control how the camera moves, use the left and right thumbsticks. The L2 and R2 buttons will pan it up or down. The photo mode menu has two tabs, one that lets you change some specific options that you would find in a regular camera, and another where you can select different filters or hide Jesse or other characters from the world. In the camera tab, you can roll the camera by degrees while pointing it at the same subject, broaden or tighten the field of view, change the focus distance, adjust the aperture, and determine the depth of field. In the filters tab, you can hide Jesse or hide all characters or both, or use any of the 10 different filters that come within the photo mode. You can also reset the shot by pressing square and hide the UI by pressing triangle. We can't wait to see the shots you create. Share them with us on social media using the hashtag Control Remedy. And what's next for Control? Because the experience is not over yet. It was noted, like we said, we are working on new content and we couldn't leave you hanging like that. So at the end of the year, we'll be releasing a free gameplay mode for all our players. Everyone who owns Control will be getting the challenging expeditions mode, in which Jesse will need to complete different objectives within a set time to get powerful rewards. But be on your guard, every expedition that Jesse undertakes will come with different modifiers that make the encounter extra tricky. Control is one of those games that without a doubt went a little bit under the radar. A good thing for Remedy, it seemed like the game was received really well. They got some upfront money from Epic Games to ease their financial troubles for the game, well, the publisher at least, in 505 Games. But you get the idea. Control was a really great game, and if you want a narrative-driven single-player experience, there's a lot to like out of Control, and it is going on sale pretty regularly at this point, so I would definitely give it a look. And lastly, I do want to note a free update coming to Wargroove. Wargroove is a great downloadable title reminiscent of something like Advance Wars that was on the Game Boy Advance, and Wargroove Double Trouble is coming, a free DLC coming to all supported platforms, and there's a lot of content coming with Double Trouble. It includes a brand new co-op story campaign that can be played couch co-op, online co-op, or even solo, 3 roguish commanders, 2 new units, thieves and riflemen, new arcade missions, competitive online quick play maps, including some of the community's most competitive maps as voted for by the Groove of War team, public and private multiplayer lobbies. You can also now play custom campaigns online, new volcano map theme, and more updates to the custom editor tools, outlaw music tracks composed by Phonetic Hero, and much more. And they go very much in depth with the editor tools, and there are some balance changes as well. Wargroove is a fantastic downloadable title, and it is also coming to the physical side with Wargroove the Deluxe Edition. That'll be out on October 29th. Again, if you want something reminiscent to Advance Wars, or you just want a quality tactical strategy game, Wargroove is a title that's gonna be right up your alley, so I would highly recommend it. And with a free update that is this significant, that's adding this much content, really good on the development studio over at Chucklefish to do something like this. That's really good for the consumer, and good to see more and more developers do stuff like this, rolling out updates for free. Control's getting this photo mode, and it's getting this expedition updates, and Wargroove is getting a very sizable update and DLC content as well, so that's really cool. In the case of Control, there is going to be some paid DLC, so that should be mentioned, but with Wargroove, a lot of good content coming to it. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, if you're a fan of JRPGs, The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3 should definitely be on your radar. By the way, it's coming out October 22nd, so just a few days away, 6 days away until the release of the game, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Control is getting a photo mode, and the Expeditions update should be out by the end of the year, and Double Trouble, a brand new free update for Wargroove, will be out by the end of this year. So that's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.